Hello everybody, working on the Toyota again, the 2001 Tacoma. I am revisiting the front end alignment. I did the string method as a previous video of mine shows, but it didn't line up quite straight. I think it might possibly have something to do with the length of the vehicle. It's hard to get that string, that tight string, perfectly parallel to the truck. So I'm going to try a different method. And that method is to basically measure from one point on one tire to a point on the other tire, on the front of the wheel, or the front of the tire rather, and compare that measurement to the back of the tire. So what a lot of people do, they'll jack the vehicle up and hold a piece of chalk here or something like that and spin the tire around and make a chalk line. Then you can run a tape measure across and measure front and back, and again the typical adjustment dimension is 1/8 of an inch toe in. So this dimension in the front of the vehicle would be 1/8 of an inch less than the dimension in the back. But I've got a lot of stuff in the way. There's this skid plate there, so I couldn't really get a tape measure across, and I got a whole bunch of crap back there, the steering rack and the sway bar and all that stuff. So I made a quick little thing. You can almost call it a caliper. Just got a piece of junk angle iron. Made one stand up piece, and I attached a little peg onto it. And I did the same thing over here, except that I welded on a nut and a bolt that you can screw in and out. And this dimension from here over to there is slightly less than the dimension between that rim and that rim. So I'm going to insert this in between there and screw this bolt in and out until I get it to just barely touch, and then I'm going to take it out without moving this bolt, or I might put a lock nut on there to prevent it from moving and compare it to the other side. So the reason I'm doing this is because with it stood up like that, there could be any sort of obstruction in between these two pieces, you know, like the sway bar or whatever, and it's not going to get in the way because this is laying on the ground. And the other thing worthy of mentioning is that the height from the ground up to this bolt is the radius of the tire. So I'll show you. So basically you want it half the height, so it hits, so you're measuring right from the outside most part of the rim, not down here or up here. You want to measure right from the center. So let's get this set up. So I have my tool in place. I have one of the pegs on the bead surface of one of the rims, and then here's my adjustable side. I'm going to turn it in until it just barely stops. I don't want to keep turning it hard and start bending stuff. But it's just got some resistance there. I have a lock nut. I'm going to lock this lock nut down so nothing spins. Now let's bring it over to the other side. Alright, so behind the front wheel I have the measurement jig now, and I have the non-adjustable peg pushed up against the rim just like I had on the front. Now over here I have my adjustable peg, and let's see, I don't know how well you can see. Of course you don't have much, a little dark, but you can see that's well, I can see even easier than you guys can because you're not looking through a camera, but there's definitely more than 1/8 of an inch of space there. I'd say that's more like 5/16 or so, 3/8 maybe. So make sure you measure from the same point, of course. See, this just happens to be on the outside of the bead right of the rim right now, but I was in the front. I measured from the inside surface like that. So make sure you're measuring from the same points, of course. But anyway, I'm going to adjust one of the tie rods until I get this dimension into proper adjustment. Now, the one problem with this method is that you don't know exactly which tie rod to adjust, because you could easily adjust one tie rod out or the other tie rod in, and you could still fix this adjustment. But as a result, if you adjust the wrong one, your steering wheel will be cockeyed. But that should be easy to fix if you get your vehicle to track straight, but the steering wheel is cockeyed. You just adjust both adjusters on each side the same amount in the correct direction to correct the offset steering wheel. So when you're adjusting your tie rod in or out to get that 1/8 of an inch toe in, like most people recommend, and you're in close quarters like you are in here, here's an idea. This is an 1/8 inch drill bit, and just keep adjusting it till this just barely fits in. You don't need to measure it with a caliper or anything. So it didn't initially occur to me that, for however obvious it seems, that when you adjust the rear side of the wheels and pull them in or out, that's obviously going to adjust the front. So I'm going to measure back and forth a couple times and keep making adjustments until everything kind of balances itself out. Well, I just took it for a quick test drive down the road. There's a straight section of road just down the way a little bit, and went down pretty well. If I let go of the wheel, went nice and straight. However, the steering wheel was a little bit cockeyed one way. So this is exaggerated, but rather than the tires being towed in like that, I imagine there's something like that. So I have to turn the wheel a little bit to compensate. So all you have to do is adjust each adjuster in the same direction, just a hair. So you adjust this one in a little bit, and just adjust that one out a little bit to get the proper toe, or rather the proper alignment in relation to the steering wheel. And that's about all there is to it. So it seems like this method has worked out a little bit better than the string method for me anyway. Maybe if you have a smaller, shorter car, the string method will work well for you, especially if you have larger rims. That gives you a longer distance in which to align your string parallel to the car. But in my case, it really didn't work out too well. It got me close, but not perfect. So for just a couple minutes of my time, I was able to make my I'll call it a caliper measurement tool, and a little bit of back and forth from the front to the rear to adjust everything, and an 1/8 inch drill bit to use as a measurement tool, and it turned out pretty well. And the steering wheel seems to center itself on its own well, and she drives pretty good. So I saved about $60–70 right there, and about an hour of my time. Well, I spent an hour of my time working on this, but hey, I got outside. It's a beautiful day. Learned something instead of letting some hack grease monkeys mess around with my truck in the shop, and most likely screw it up anyway. So that's it. Hope this helps out some of you guys. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button or the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you enjoy these videos, there's always more coming. Leave a comment or a suggestion. Thanks for watching, and as always, come back for more.